Adobe Camera Raw is an application that is utilized to open RAW files. Now, a RAW file is a digital negative file that is much larger than a compressed JPEG file, and it is the CR2 file that we are looking at here within this folder. A Nikon camera will create an NEF file. Other cameras will create different types of files that are specific to that camera type. However, as a Canon camera, we are going to open the RAW file from Canon, the CR2. Now, I can do that a couple of different ways. I can right click on it and say Open with Camera Raw, or because it is a RAW file, I can just double click on it. It will open this image in Adobe Camera Raw. Now, see that I've got cute little Riley here, and if we look over to the right, we'll see we have several different options. I can adjust my exposure. It's a little bright, so I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. I can add or remove some contrast to my image. I'm going to bump that just a little bit here using the slider. I can adjust my highlights, bring them up or down. I'm going to bring them down just a little bit. We can see some differences now happening on the blanket, on her face. Shadows, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, add a little bit of shadow. Whites, again, I can bring that up or down. I'm going to leave those pretty much alone. I like my whites where they were, so 0 is fine for me there. The same with my blacks. I can bring those down or up. I'm going to leave my blacks at 0 as well. The next thing I can adjust is the clarity. Now, clarity affects the softness or hardness of an image. Look at her face as I slide down and then as I slide up, okay? You can get a lot of interesting effects if you adjust the clarity. However, just a very little bit, I'm going to bring it down just a little to about -7 or 8. Soften her skin just a bit. I can adjust vibrance, bring it up, bring it down. I like it pretty much as it was taken. My camera was color corrected before we started. Saturation, I can oversaturate. We don't want that. I can pull all the saturation out, turn it into a grayscale image that way. That's not really the correct way to do that either. So I've gone through and I've adjusted all of these exposure, highlight, shadow, etc. settings. At the top is a white balance. I can adjust the color temperature of my image. So I can adjust it to make it more yellow, more blue, add magenta or green if I had not color corrected my image to begin with. I'm going to go and I'm going to select as shot, and that's the image as it was taken. Now, if you go through and you just do not like your settings, you feel like you've messed the image up, you can always click default. It'll reset all of these to 0 and as shot, and you can start over. And that concludes our introduction to Adobe Camera Raw. Next, we'll look at some of the basic tools you can use in Adobe Camera Raw, as well as open an image that needs color correcting and do color correction of an image in Adobe Camera Raw.